I was standing in the kitchen, barefoot, waiting for the kettle to finish arguing with itself. His phone buzzed on the counter. I wouldn't have looked if it hadn't been face up, if it hadn't been my name sitting there as the lock screen wallpaper, smiling from a trip we never finished. The message preview slid in anyway. All that matters is getting in while she's at work. No punctuation, no name attached. Just his mother's number, saved as Mom, like a promise he never questioned. For a second, my brain tried to make it harmless, a misunderstanding, a poorly phrased sentence about groceries or storage or something else ordinary. But there was nothing ordinary about getting in, nothing ordinary about the timing. I worked every weekday. Everyone knew that. The kettle clicked off, the kitchen went quiet. That quiet didn't feel dramatic, it felt logistical, like a spreadsheet waiting to be filled. I locked the phone and set it back exactly where it had been. I didn't cry. That surprised me later, but not then. What I felt was a kind of internal reorganization, like when you realize a door you thought was load-bearing was just decorative, and the structure will have to change. I went to work. I answered emails. I nodded through a meeting about deliverables and timelines. All day the sentence ran underneath everything else. Not loud, not accusatory, just present, getting in. When I came home, nothing was disturbed. No drawers opened, no scent of unfamiliar perfume. The house looked the same, which somehow made it worse. It meant the plan hadn't been abandoned, only delayed. That night, he talked about his mother the way he always did, vaguely, defensively, like weather you couldn't control. I didn't challenge him. I listened for what wasn't said. I noticed how easily he referenced the house as ours when it suited him, and how easily it became mine when something needed managing. I waited. The next morning, I left earlier than usual. I didn't rush. I locked the door behind me and felt, for the first time in months, the exact weight of the keys in my hand. By noon, I had done 3 things. I called the property management office and asked a neutral question about access permissions. I emailed myself screenshots, just facts, timestamps, nothing dramatic, and I scheduled a locksmith, the kind who works through management, not favors. There was no grand plan, just alignment, the kind that happens when you stop assuming someone else will protect your interests. At 2:17 p.m., my phone rang. "Babe," he said, already breathless. "My keys don't work. I'm at the house. Are you home?" I pictured him on the porch, confused rather than angry. I knew that tone. It was the sound he made when the world didn't bend quickly enough. "I'm at work," I said. A pause, wind in the background, a car passing. "What do you mean they don't work?" "I mean," I said, "they don't unlock the door." Another pause, longer this time. His breathing changed. I could hear him thinking through the possibilities and discarding the one that involved himself. "Did you change something?" "Yes." There it was, the moment where I would normally soften it, add reassurance, explain myself into smallness. I didn't. "Why would you do that?" he asked. I looked at my desk, the plant I always forgot to water, the stack of files that proved I existed outside this house. "Because someone was planning to enter our home while I was gone," I said, "and I wasn't consulted." "That's not—" He stopped, restarted. "My mom wouldn't—" "She texted you," I said. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. "While I was holding your phone." Silence, sharp this time. Not confusion, recognition. "I can explain," he said finally. "I'm sure you can," I said. "But right now, the property manager is handling access. They'll be there shortly." "What does that mean?" "It means," I said, choosing my words carefully, "that until occupancy rights are clarified, entry is restricted." "You can't just lock me out?" "I didn't," I said. "The management office did." That was the hinge, the unmistakable shift, not between us, between assumption and reality. When I hung up, my hands were steady. That surprised me too. Later, the property manager emailed confirmation, neutral language, policy citations, no sides taken, which somehow felt like validation. Authority didn't arrive with sirens or raised voices. It arrived with a PDF and a timestamp. By the time I got home, he was gone. So was his mother. No scene, no note, just absence, heavy and instructive. The house felt different, not triumphant, not victorious, just quieter, like it was waiting to see who I would be now that no one was rearranging it behind my back. That night, I slept straight through for the first time in weeks. The following days were awkward in small ways, texts that didn't quite land, conversations that circled logistics but avoided meaning. He stayed elsewhere temporarily. His mother didn't contact me at all. I noticed things then, how often I had apologized for wanting privacy, how often I had explained my schedule like it was a flaw, how easily access had been treated as entitlement. None of that resolved itself neatly. When we eventually talked, it wasn't cinematic, no shouting, no confession that wrapped everything up, just an uncomfortable, sour truth.